Doug Dyrssen is probably the youngest candidate in this race for Modesto City Council 2011. At 28, I almost said 21, at 28 years old, he's a husband, a father, president of the Association of Students at Modesto Junior College, and like the guest before him, his list goes on and on. He's held many offices in local organizations and has served our country by enlisting in the Air Force at age 20. He's seen the world from sea to shining sea, and being a Central Valley native, has come back home to raise his family. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
How long did you serve in the Air Force?
I was in for about 4 years. I'm trying to remember my exact exit date, but I believe it was about 4 years, maybe a little over.
What did you do when you were in the Air Force?
Well, I was a aircraft mechanic on the F-15 fighters. That was my, I guess, main job in the Air Force. So there was plenty of other positions that I had. Secondary to that was I was on the Air Force Base Honor Guard, where I got to take part in leading a lot of the more delicate, ceremonies that the Air Force deals with.
That's right. You were telling me about that. That was very interesting because we see that on TV.
Yes.
But sometimes we get so focused on the ceremony, we forget that those are actual people who are going through that. And the Honor Guard, when you first told me that, it didn't click in my mind. So explain that just for a moment, will you?
Well, on the Honor Guard, we had a lot of different types of ceremonies. I think one of the most memorable ceremonies, of course, are funeral ceremonies. I think that those are the ones that stick with you forever. I've had the honor of performing ceremonies for the families of our fallen heroes, and I think that was. Those are probably definitely the most memorable for me. There's a lot of other ceremonies that we do, flag ceremonies, marching ceremonies, different events. But I think it's those that really stick with me. And meeting with the families, presented many flags to mothers of fallen victims, and a lot of times it's we simply don't know what happened to the fallen hero. So it's difficult because of course the family wants some kind of closure to that.
I can imagine, because if you're the one who's actually doing the handing off of the flag, and you have to look into their eyes, it must be.
I've had to do that a couple times, and I can tell you it was definitely rough. It was a situation that I don't wish upon anybody. I did it with respect. I did it for the families. I did it for the fallen hero, for my brother in the military, and I think that I think the family appreciated that. I think if anything else, they appreciated that.
Well, I mentioned that you're only 28, but it seems like you've already lived a lifetime. You've traveled the world. You've lived in Anchorage, Alaska.
Correct. Yeah.
You've been in the heart of the South.
Correct. From Texas to Florida to Anchorage, and then some other temporary duty stations around the world. So yeah.
And you ended up back here.
Ended up back here. My family was here. This was a place where I called home. Came back here after I served in the Air Force, and now I'm trying to make my home better. And now that I have a wife and child, I think that it goes beyond me making my home better. Now it's our home.